HCTV Sports is supported by Merchants Bank. Merchants Bank is committed to supporting the families and businesses at the heart of their communities. Merchants Bank, let's dream together.
Making the play. He gets the pin. Raiders are clawing their way back in this game.
Just snipes one.
It's Morgan! It's over! Save! Oh my God!
Did you see that?
Great diving play.
He's hit a touchdown! Hastings Raiders win the ball game!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hastings Middle School's pool as we are set for another edition of HCTV Sports. Hunter Pinky on the call for tonight's action. I'm the sports director here at Hastings Community TV. We got a good one for you. The Hastings-Simley rivalry in full force, slowly becoming one of our favorites here in the Metro East Conference. As we open up the night with our first JV heat, if you're new to the sport, it'll always go JV first, alternating to varsity then after. So first we have our girls 200-yard medley relay. Only Hastings is listed on this heat. On the roster I was given. And it looks like that's how it'll be. So in lane 1 for Hastings, it's Fiona Olson, the senior, followed by Caden Butler, the 11th grader, Amelia Kraus, the third swimmer, the 7th grader, and then Ellie Cook will be swimming 4th as a 9th grader. So we get set for this first JV heat. Be a good test to see how our JV squad has timing-wise. As I mentioned, Fiona swimming first. Nice paced strokes, kicks off the wall. Swimming. If you're new, like I said, if you're new to the sport, the pool is 25 yards in length. So for the 50-yard free later in the night, they'll swim down and back, and that'll be the race. As we get set for the swap, as their next swimmer is in there, Caden Butler for the Hastings Raiders. And as you know, for those medley relays, you'll switch to a different stroke in this relay till 200 yards. So the first 50 completed. Caden will complete the next 50. Seen her swimming a few years now for the Hastings Raiders. As we get to see some of the student section file in tonight. It is senior night here from the Hastings Middle School pool. So getting a little bit of a student section right in front of us here, which is fun to see. As Caden Butler looks to finish her leg of the race. Next will be Amelia Kraus, the 7th grader for Hastings. As they switch strokes once again. Hits the wall, makes the turn. And just so you know, for the senior night too, it's cowboy/western theme. So you might see a lot of cow-themed balloons and different senior night western theming around the facility. We'll kind of get shots of those later as Kraus hits the wall and the next diver will enter. That's Ellie Cook. We'll finish up with the freestyle. Good dive out the block, good distance. Obviously, for different schools, you'll see different sides. Simley not fielding a JV one for this heat. There's a couple of events we'll be skipping tonight on the JV side due to the size differences. But our varsity heat is full up for Simley. As Cook hits the wall, completing the JV heat to open up our night here from the Hastings Middle School pool with a final time of 2 minutes, 57 seconds, 0.62 milliseconds. So solid time for the JV side. Next, we'll see the varsity 200-yard medley relay in lane 1, starting off for the Hastings Raiders. The 8th grade Elena Latch. In lane 2 for Simley, Emma Turbot. In lane 3 for Hastings, Stella Hilgers. In lane 4 for Simley, Lauren Oswald. In lane 5, Carly Gintner. And then lane 6, Candace Dolphy. So Hastings will be in lanes 1, 3, and 5, Simley in 2, 4, 6 the whole night. I'll repeat that a couple times just as a reminder for our viewers as we are set to go here for our first varsity heat of the night. Boys student section getting loud here already. Simley off to an early lead down in lane 4. That's Lauren Oswald in a battle with Stella Hilgers. Getting a commanding lead now. Lane 2 sneaking up on lane 3 as well. Lane 2's Emma Turbot. Lane 3, Stella Hilgers. Raiders going to have some ground to make up here in this race as we get our next divers in 3 and 4. Lane 4 is now Tiffany Nigan, followed by Josie Larson, the senior, in lane number 3. You can see that gap getting bigger and bigger. Simley looking to take the first varsity heat. In a close third place in lane 2 is Ava Osland. And Simley's off to a commanding lead. Great way to start for the Spartans. Raiders gonna need to narrow the gap a little bit here as we get set for more racers to enter the pool. Mia Doolittle next for Simley in lane 4, and then Kira Arness in lane 3 for the Raiders. Lane 5 is now kind of closing that gap for third, as in lane number 2, Sylvia Anderson dives in for the Spartans. On to our third set of racers all across the board here. Top of your screen is lane 1, bottom is lane 6. Student section very loud here. We love to see it for swimming on senior night as lane number 3 and 4 are back into the water. The gap is closed. The Raiders are right there to steal this one. Izzy Green in lane 3, in lane 4, Tori Evangelista. Who's gonna win it? Hastings is taking the lead. Neck and neck. And it looks like Hastings will take the race here in our opening varsity heat with Simley with a narrow second place. Izzy Green was able to narrow the gap along with Kira Arness. Unfortunately, Simley could not close that gap. Still a very impressive showing from the Simley Spartans. And getting third place, who will be Hastings by just barely in lane number 2. Mari Early just lost a little bit of that lead, and Hastings manages to claim 2 of the top 3 spots. Talk about an opening race right there. Simley got off to a commanding lead early, but Hastings was able to narrow the gap with their final 2 swimmers and took that W early. So great showing here from the Lady Raiders here early. And for those tuning in on Town Square Television, thanks for joining us. Might be a little bit homery tonight. We are a Hastings broadcast, but we want to make it enjoyable for our viewers at home. Let us know where you're watching in the comments on YouTube. I'll try to get them. Or if you have any facts about the Simley swim team, we'd love to highlight them as well. Like I said, Town Square is kind of like our sister station. We're kind of sharing games all the time, and you guys don't always get to see swimming. So we're excited to have you along for the ride today. Next up is event number 3, the girls 200-yard freestyle for the JV. So not a relay this time. They'll go down and back 4 different times. We'll run through your racers here in a moment. Now let's run through this here. It's Caden Butler in lane 1, Amira Lange. Correct me on that if I'm incorrect, Simley fans. Fiona Olson of Hastings, lane 3. Sophia Nigan in lane 4 for Simley, and then lane 5, Amelia Kraus of the Hastings Raiders. As they take their positions on the block, they are in the water.
Lane 1, Caden. Lane 2.
Reminder, 1-3-4 Hastings, or 1-3-5 Hastings, 2-4-6 Simley. Simley taking a lead here in the early showings of this JV heat. Lane 2. Lang tied with her partner, Sophia Nigan. This one's a little bit more about that pace. You need to take your time, pace out your energy. Obviously, the 50-yard free is when we'll see everyone release their full potential, only having to go down and back once. This time, they still have 3 more times to go. In third place will be lane number 5 for Hastings. That's Amelia Kraus. Somebody doing a very good job so far. Neck and neck, too, in this JV heat. Two more laps to go as the Simley Spartans are about to kick off that wall. Lane number 5, Kraus, hanging in there for that third place out of 5. Lang about an arm's length ahead of her teammate. Good showing so far this evening. Kind of see too, every swimmer has a different way they like to reach off the wall. Your hand has to you have to fully touch the wall before you can start swimming the other direction, or you're disqualified. You can see in lane 1, she decided to touch the wall with her hand and then flip and go back to that freestyle motion. You'll see other swimmers decide to do a spin and then kick off the wall as they touch. Kind of see that down in lane number 4, that kicking style. Want to keep as much momentum going forward as possible, so that little spin will kind of help accelerate your speed going back the other direction. It looks like lane number 2, Amira Lang, will take the victory. She is a junior. Sophia Nigan will claim second place as the Raiders are entering their final leg of the swim. Looking like Amelia Kraus will get that third place spot. Still neck and neck for Fiona Olson and Caden Butler. Student faction trying to get these Raiders pumped up in this final JV heat. Wondering too if these guys are from the cross country team. Hastings does something very unique, and they have different sports partner up with other teams, and then they have to go attend all together a different event. So varsity cross country will come and visit a swim meet, while swim meet will go check out a cross country meet later in the season. Football will do soccer and so on and so forth. It's a really fun thing to see as the race concludes here in this JV heat. Seen a couple familiar faces, John Harris, Matt Sherry here.
4, varsity 200-yard freestyle.
Great to see. Sporting their programs as you get a good shot of the scores. Let's get into the varsity side of things here. 200-yard freestyle, lane 1. Stella Hilgers, followed by Cassandra Torres, Lauren Bedot, Mia Doolittle, Emma Leonard, and Candace Dolphy of Simley. Like I said, 1-3-5 Hastings, 2-4-6 Simley. And we're underway here. Lane number 4 off to an early lead here for Simley. That is Doolittle. Great pace here already as she's got an arm's length and a half from lane 5 and Emma Leonard. Leonard trying to keep it close. These push-offs the wall are going to be key to keeping this close. Doolittle doing a great job narrowing the gap. Lane 1 and 2 in a tight race as well. This is neck and neck. We're seeing a bunch of different racers here steal this lead. Lane number 4, Doolittle still has that lead. Lane 1 and 2 are competing here though, trying to keep it close. Leonard catching up in lane 1. Hilgers as well, not too far behind. However, Torres is right there. Could steal that third place spot at any moment. One thing about swim meets is it is loud in here. You can hear her teammates and cheering on for both sides as the final leg of the race is underway for Doolittle. Looks like Hastings will take that 2 and 3 spot unless Torres can get something going here. Right behind Hilgers as we're going to get Doolittle hitting the wall. Excuse me, now it's the final leg of the race. Lost count. Apologize about that, folks. Doolittle commanding lead. Followed by lanes 1 and 5. Looks like Doolittle will wrap this up pretty easily here. It's a matter of second and third. First place, it's looking like Hilgers or Leonard for that 2 and 3. And it looks like lane 5 will claim up that 2 spot and lane 1 will get that 3. So Hilgers 3. Leonard 2, and then Mia Doolittle will claim that first place spot for the Simley Spartans. So 2 out of 3 finish for the Hastings Raiders once again. This time no first place. Simley took that one here in this heat, but there's a lot more action to come here from the Hastings Middle School pool. Try to keep you guys honest about scoring as well. We'll check in with those as we get through the night. Raiders are coached by Katie McAlpin. She also coaches the boys side as well as the varsity coach. Taking over last year, maybe 2 years ago, but she's been with that boys program. As we head to the 200-yard IM for the JV side. In lane 3, Emery Malm, the 8th grader, followed by Violet Snodgrass of Simley, and then Mary Schulk of the Raiders. So, unlike the opening medley we saw, this is the individual medley, so each swimmer will have to do each different stroke once they complete a full lap down in that pool. Neck and neck between both Raiders squads. Emery Malm, Mary Schulk keeping it close. Snodgrass putting in a lot of work, and every different swimmer has their favorite type of stroke. So we might see Snodgrass struggle a little bit here. Might not be her favorite, but once she gets to that maybe freestyle or breaststroke, she could really turn on the jets. You never know. Everyone's got that preferred stroke. Raiders keeping it neck and neck. Raiders both neck and neck, nearly gonna hit that wall and switch strokes. So get the breaststroke. This one was not my favorite stroke to watch or do when I was swimming in middle school. Definitely not my favorite. Makes a turn as we head to our final stroke of the freestyle. pace by both Raiders. As they kick to their final stroke. Narrow race here between the two Raiders sections. Emery Malm having a narrow lead over Mary Schulk. Good to see these middle schoolers getting some experience. Schulk is an 8th grader, but Malm is an 8th grader. Snodgrass as well from Simley is a 7th grader. So great to see the middle schoolers getting to swim up with some of the older crew. As it'll be lane number 5 taking it. That'll be Mary Schulk narrowly taking it over by just milliseconds. Man, that was close. As Snodgrass looking to finish as well. Congrats to all swimmers in the pool. And that'll conclude the JV heat. Next up is the varsity half, but well, you know what we gotta thank first? Gotta remind our viewers, HCTV Sports is supported by Merchants Bank. Merchants Bank is committed to supporting the families and businesses at the hearts of our communities. Finances should be about listening, learning, and even a little fun. To start your best banking adventure yet, more information is available at merchantsbank.com. Merchants Bank, let's dream together. Thank you, Merchants Bank, for supporting HCTV Sports. As we get set for the varsity side of things, like I said, Hastings 135-246 for Simley. Student section getting hyped. We are underway for the varsity heat. In lane number 1, Eliane Herrera-Carlson, Mari Early, Kiara Arness, Lauren Oswald, Sophia Kovalenko, and Geraldine Lawless. Oleas, excuse me. Lane number 3 with Arness off to the early lead here as they switch to the backstroke. Simley not too far behind in 3rd place in lane number 4. Oswald trying to keep pace. In lane number 5 is Kovalenko keeping up there with Arness. Like I mentioned in the last heat, pace is key. And once you hit that favorite stroke, you'll see these swimmers kind of kick it up a notch once you're their preferred race as we get the Let's Go Raider chants running here in the middle school pool. Arness with the lead still. Kovalenko in 2nd. In 3rd. Lauren Oswald in 4th for Simley is Mari Early, followed by Geraldine Oleas. Rounding us off. Raiders kick into their final strokes. Looking like they'll take the top 2 places here in this race. Kiara Arness, Kovalenko heading the charge here with Simley not far behind in Lauren Oswald. Oswald, a freshman, Kovalenko, a sophomore, and Arness, one of the seniors we will be honoring after a brief break after the 50-yard free. Looks like Arness will take that 1st place spot, followed by Kovalenko. And Lauren Oswald looking to get into the top 3 for Simley. In 4th place right now is Herrera-Carlson. And then rounding us off in the bottom 2 spots in lane number 2, Mari Early. And in lane number 6, Geraldine Oleas, excuse me. Apologize, some of these names are a little tricky. See a lot of Simley, but some of these names aren't super common for us here at HCTV. As we await the final results, Hastings claiming places 1, 2, and 4. Simley claiming 2, 5, 6 in the 200-yard IM. Coming up next is our 50-yard freestyle. Start with the JV heat here tonight, and then we'll move to the varsity heat, and then we'll take a very brief break before the senior night festivities. Come back for senior night, and then we will take a brief break before diving. So, a lot of action tonight here from the middle school pool. They await the starting horn. And the JV heat underway. Lane 1 for the Raiders, Caden Butler, followed by Bella Berg in lane number 2 of Simley. Kira Fuchtman of Hastings, the 8th grader, in lane 3. Ava Feel in lane number 4. Simley off to a commanding lead by Feel. Looks like Field will claim this JV heat for the Simley Spartans. Neck and neck though in lanes 2 and 3 for that second place finish. Who's gonna get it? And it looks like Simley will take it. Bella Berg there, not far behind Kyra Fuchman, and then Caden Butler rounding us out for the 4th place finish. As you can hear the Kira chants getting running. Next, we will move up to the 50-yard free for the varsity side. Last event before we take another break. Before the senior night festivities. We'll just shoot our seniors and recognize them.
Varsity 50-yard freestyle.
Here's the varsity side, running through your lineup. As soon as it'll be Peyton Coombs of Hastings, Tori Evangelista, Ellie Cook, Tiffany Nigan, Elena Latch, and Ava Osland for Simley. Like I said, once again, 135 for the Raiders, 246 for Simley as we're underway here in this 50-yard freestyle. That initial dive is key to getting the lead as Simley takes the lead here in lane number 4, Tiffany Nigan. Nigan has a commanding lead here. Lane 2 and 3, neck and neck, Evangelista and Cook. Who's gonna get the second place? Simley's got this first place locked up. Who's got number 2? And it's gonna be Simley taking it as lane number 6 claimed that 3rd place spot. So Simley swiping the whole board for the top 3 here in the 50-yard free. I apologize. My view's just a hair obscured on this near side. But it looks like Simley finally took command here, taking those top 3 spots. We have a lot coming up next, so we're going to take a brief break before the senior night festivities. So thanks for joining us, everybody. You are listening to Girls Swim and Dive here on HCTV Sports. Don't go anywhere.
How can I help you today?
I don't think I'm in the right place. I have big dreams, like crab brewery-sized dreams.
I like it.
Your bank is very,
Cozy?
yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We prefer more personal interactions. We dedicate the majority of our space to our customers' dreams.
Wow. Look at that.
I know, it never gets old.
Wow. This is way bigger than your office.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hastings Middle School pool as we are getting set for senior night here. I'll run through your seniors really quick before we get into the individuals recognized. Kira Arness, one of these seniors, Izzy Green, Stella Hilgers, Josie Larson, and Fiona Olson are the seniors being recognized tonight. Like I said, it's Western night here, so you'll be able to see some people wearing cowboy hats, just like right there. So cowboy themed. I guessed wrong this time. The past couple senior nights I've done here, I thought it was going to be Hawaiian night. So I'm wearing my Hawaiian polo. I shaved my beard to a mustache, all in preparation for this Hawaiian night. But they went cowboy on me. So the mustache works for cowboy night too. But unfortunately, I just guessed wrong here. Got a good shot of head coach Katie McAlpin in the yellow on your screen. Lila Salzman there, state swimmer last year.
All right, tonight's senior night.
And here's the senior night beginning.
Seniors, we are going to say a couple things about each one of them, and then we'll move on with the meet. First up is Chloe, and she is talking about her.
First up, they'll be recognizing Kira Arness. Chloe Arness is going to be saying a few words. We'll try to pick it up with our net mics the best we can here.
Kira's favorite memories from Kira Wonderland build on successful during the Twitter for relay and the Twitter meet.
Kira Arness, a very accomplished swimmer for the Hastings Raiders, state swimmer.
The University of Minnesota Twin Cities or University of Kansas to become a physician assistant and work in psychiatrics. Her advice to the team is to enjoy about life.
Looking like she'll be attending the University of Minnesota Twin Cities or the University of Kansas. Congratulations to Kira.
Next, we are going to talk about Izzy Green.
Next up, they'll be recognizing Izzy Green. Loving this hype. Loving this hype from the student section today.
Izzy's favorite memory is going on bus rides and into dinners.
Team dinners and bus rides are her favorite memory.
College of St. Benedict, Hawaii for a double major in biology and Spanish. Her advice to the team
She'll be majoring in biology
when you were
and going to the College of St. Benedict. Congrats, Izzy Green.
next is Stella, and Emma's going to
Next up, Stella Hilgers. You can see them on top of the diving board there.
Stella's favorite memory while being on the team is going to sections for the first time and winning her heat.
Stella Hilgers' favorite moment winning a heat at state.
Northern Michigan University to study pre-medicine to become a dermatologist.
She'll be studying pre-med and to become a dermatologist in the future. Very unique choice here. Congratulations, Stella.
Next is Josie Larson.
Up next, Josie Larson.
Next year, she will plan to continue to make efforts to study business at the College of St. Benedict. Her advice to the team is to not compare yourself
She'll
to
also be
others and to work
attending
hard
St.
every day.
Benedict College. So congratulations to Josie Larson as well on a fantastic career. Fiona Olson up next.
Fiona's favorite memory was at Crystal Cave before we've been there, hanging out with me and Mary and Leona and Peyton, eating candy and playing cards in the hotel room. She plans on going to college to study astrophysics and chemistry, and her advice to the team is be yourself.
She'll be studying physics and chemistry. So congrats, Fiona, a very unique career path. And once again, congratulations to all of our seniors on the diving board for a fantastic swim and dive career as they take one final picture and one round of applause from the crowd. And with that, we will take another break before diving commences. So there was your senior night. We'll take one more break. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You're listening and watching to Raiders Swim and Dive here on Hastings Community Television. Don't go anywhere.
With over 300 passionate educators, our dedication to student success has never been stronger. These educators are more than teachers.
Let's paint the picture.
They are mentors who ignite curiosity and inspire a lifelong passion for learning. Our schools provide real-world experiences through cutting-edge programs in engineering and environmental science. At Hastings, we take pride in our blend of rigorous academics and enriching arts and athletic programs. These programs nourish our students' educational journey, enhancing their creativity and discipline and fostering skills that resonate throughout their academic and personal lives. This is Hastings Public Schools, where we care, we empower, and we achieve. Students are at the heart of all we do.
Hi, this is Lucas Foss from Hastings, and on behalf of all Metro East Conference schools, we would like to thank you for supporting us. Please remember to show respect and good sportsmanship at all times. We as athletes will always try our best, and you can expect the same from coaches and officials. Mistakes will be made by everyone involved, but please show support and respect through the contest, no matter the outcome, whether it be online or in the stands.
Welcome back to the Hastings Middle School pool as we get set for diving here. So a couple of differences here. Simley will primarily have exhibition divers tonight. You can kind of see back in the corner over there on your screen, refs giving the rundown too for how diving is going to work tonight. Difference here between the regular swim heats and the diving, they ask for complete silence until the dive has been completed. So there are, I believe tonight we will have 6 rounds of diving. We'll see some of the exhibitioners slowly drop off as we kind of reach that round 4-ish territory. I'll kind of go through this tonight too, as I'll read the dive number for those that pay attention, the degree of difficulty, how hard the dive will be, and then the dive description, so the type of dive.
Okay, here we go. Get ready for diving. Reminder, no ducking,
as they go through
no noise makers, quiet
the rules here.
Safety.
Just reminding fans to keep quiet here during diving.
Is Maddie doing dive 101C?
First up will be Maddie Book of the Simley Spartans. Dive 101C, 1.2 degree of difficulty, a forward dive from the tuck position. And here she goes. Dive in the water. Scores are 3.5, 3.5, and 4.
Dive 101C, forward dive, top 1.2.
She gets set for her next diver, Emma Turgott. Simley Spartans, 1.2 degree of difficulty, forward dive from the tuck position, 101C. Same dive. 3.5, 4, and a 4. Good dive from Simley. Next is Peyton Rosendale of the Simley Spartans, 101C, 1.2 degree of difficulty, a forward dive from the tuck position once again. As she approaches the board. Two threes and a 3.5. Next is Ainsley Hagel of the Simley Spartans, 101C, 1.2 degree of difficulty, a forward dive from the tuck position. So same dive for all 4 of the divers to start the night. These are all exhibition dives, just to remind you, viewers at home. She gets set. Unsuccessful diving attempt, unfortunately, for Hagel. Next up for the Hastings Raiders, Lila Salzman. 102C, 1.4 degree difficulty, forward 1 somersault from the tuck position. She's also an exhibition diver. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. 3/4.5. Good start for Lila. Now we move into our varsity dives. Peyton Coombs. It'll be a forward dive from the tuck position, 1.2 degree of difficulty. Four, and 5. So, excuse me, it's a 5, 4, and 4.5. That was Carly Gintner, a forward dive from the tuck position. Scores of 4, 6, and 5.5. Great dive from Gintner. Next up, Kyra Fuchman. 1.6 degree difficulty, a forward 1.5 somersault dive from the tuck position. 4, 5, and 5. Great dive from Fuchman. Next, Mari Hall for the Raiders. 1.7 degree difficulty, forward 1.5 somersault from the pike position. 1.7 degree difficulty, high so far the night. Grade height and minimal splash, 6, 5.5, and 6.5. Great scores from Mari Hall. Next up, Greta Larson for the Raiders. 1.7 degree of difficulty, forward 1.5 somersault from the pike position. As Greta approaches the end of the board. Another excellent dive, 6.5, 6.5, and a 6. Next is Chloe Arnaz, 1.7 degree difficulty, forward 1.5 somersault from the pike position. Another excellent dive, 7.5. A 7 and a 6.5. Great scores from Chloe Arnaz. As we move to round 2, we head back to those exhibition dives. Maddie Book. 1.7 degree difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. She wants to adjust that tension on the board. Make sure it's right. Start off this dive. Like I said, this is an exhibition. Three and a half, and 3.5s across the board. This will bring up Emma Turgott. 1.4 degree of difficulty for the forward 1 somersault from the tuck position. See what Emma can do here for the Simley Spartans. Didn't quite get that. She got the rotation full, but didn't get those legs down. 2.5, 3, 3. Next, Peyton Rosendale for the Simley Spartans. A 1.4 degree difficulty dive, forward 1 somersault from the tuck position. Very similar dives for these next couple of exhibitions. Just completed that rotation. 3, 2.5, 3. So it's a successful dive. Next is Ainsley Hagel. 1.4 degree of difficulty, forward 1 somersault from the tuck position for those watching at home. Don't forget to let us know where you're watching from so we can say hi as we get set for this next exhibition dive. Pretty excellent dive there. They're going to call it a failed dive.
Failed dive. All right.
Unfortunately.
Dive
Apologize, I'm not an expert. Swimming's one of the new ones I've learned. So next up, Lila Salzman, 1.7 degree difficulty. Forward one somersault with a half twist from the free position. 4 and 4. Good dive for Lila Salzman in that exhibition round. Now back to the varsity side of things. Next up, Peyton Coombs, 1.6 degree difficulty. Forward 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. Four and a half. 2 fourths and a halves and a 4. Next up, Carly Gintner, 1.6 degree of difficulty. Back 1 somersault from the pike position. As we continue through our varsity dives. Got a 4.5, 4 and 4.5. Next up, Kira Fuchman, 2.2 degree of difficulty, forward 2 somersaults from the tuck position. One of the most difficult dives so far as we enter round number 2. 4.5, 4 and a 5 for Kira. Mari Hall next, forward 2 somersaults from the tuck position, a dive with a 2.2 degree of difficulty. Six, 5.5 and 5.5. Next up, Greta Larson. Forward 2 somersault tuck with a 2.2 degree of difficulty. Same dive as the last one. Five and a half, 5, 5.
Chloe, dive 104B, forward 2 somersault pike, 2.3.
Next up is Chloe Arness, 2.3 degree difficulty forward, 2 somersaults from the pike position. A 7, 6.5, and a 7.5. Student section loving it as we move to diving round number 3.
Dive 401C, inward dive, top 1.4.
Next up, Maddie Book, 1.4 degree difficulty inward dive from the tuck position.
Award 3. Emma, dive 201A, back dive straight 1.4.
Emma Target is up next, a 201A, 1.7 degree difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. So you can see her adjusting the tension or the position of the roller beneath. As we get set for the dive. Once again, like we said, back in exhibition here. Good crowd reaction, 4, 4.5, 5. Great score from Emma. Peyton Rosendale up next. 201A, 1.7 degree difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. Like I said, that degree of difficulty affects the total points. Four, 2.5, and 4. So our own coach giving the lower score there.
Dive 103C, forward 1.1 somersault tuck, 1.6.
Next up, Ainsley Hagel, 103C, 1.6 degree difficulty. A forward 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. Kind of mentioned it earlier. One MSHSL official will score. And a Hastings coach and a Simley coach do the scoring, so it kind of balances out there for not having a high number of officials for these events. And then the other MSHSL official you'll see at the end is doing the logging and tracking of the dives, making sure we're on track. Right there, they were just addressing and making sure the proper dive was occurring. As Ainsley takes her time. A 5, 4.5, and a 5. Another great dive from Ainsley. Lila Salzman next for the Raiders. 103C, 1.6 degree of difficulty. A forward 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. As we hit line. 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Talk about consistency. Next up, Peyton Coombs. 103C, 1.6 degree difficulty, a forward 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. Here a pin drop here from the Hastings Middle School pool. Good crowd on hand as well. A 5, 5, and 5. Another consistent scoring. Carly Gittner up next for the Raiders. 202B, a 1.6 degree difficulty. A back with 1 somersault from the pike position.
What? Yeah, sorry. Carly doing dive 202B, back 1 somersault, pike 1.6.
Correcting the dive in-house. Excellent dive and the splash. 5.5, 5, and 4.5.
4.5.
Next is Kira Fuchman. 5122D, 1.9 degree difficulty. A forward with 1 somersault and 1 twist from the free position. A 6, 4.5, and a 5.5. So steadily rising score as Mari Hall is up. 5132D with 2.2 degree of difficulty, a forward 1.5 somersault with 1 twist from the free position. Just got that dive to completion as we get a 5, 4.5, and 4. Greta Larson up next, 201A, 1.7 degree difficulty, back dive from the straight position. Some of these divers getting up there really quick. A lot of height. 7, 7, and 6.5. Talk about a great dive. Great height, minimal splash. Next up, Chloe Arness, 203B, 2.3 degree of difficulty. Back 1.5 somersault from the pike position. Definitely a difficult dive here, one of the most of the night. 6.5, and a 5. You can probably hear the student section pretty amazed. They don't see a ton of diving, so definitely different to see. Next up, Emma Turgant as we head back to the exhibition portion. 401C, 1.4 degree of difficulty, and inward dive from the tuck position. As we start round 4. 5, 4.5, and 4.
Up next is
Next is Peyton Rosendale, 401C, 1.4 degree of difficulty, an inward dive from the tuck position, so similar dive you just saw on your screen. Nice to see, too, the student section getting hyped for both squads. Four and a half, and 4.5. Very consistent. Ainsley Hagel up next. 201A, 1.7 degree difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. She adjusts that tension wheel. Three and a half, 4, and 4. Next up, Lila Salzman, so the exhibition round's getting a little shorter here. 201A, 1.7 degree of difficulty, a back dive from that straight position. Three, 2.5, and 3.5. Evens out to about consistent 3 across the board. Next up, Peyton Coons as we move back to the varsity portion. 201A, 1.7 degree of difficulty, a back dive from the straight position. So same dive as the last couple we've seen so far. Five and a half, 5, and 6.5. Next up, Carly Gintner, 5121D, a 1.7 degree of difficulty, forward 1 somersault with a half twist from the free position. Four, 3.5, and 3.5. Evens out to about 4s. Next up, Kira Fuchtman, 5223D, a 2.3 degree of difficulty, backs 1 somersault, 1.5 twist from the free position. So a little bit complicated here. Student section loving this. They're going to have a discussion here if they completed the dive. You have to get all the rotations in there. It's going to be a 3, 4, and 3.5. So nearly not completed, but they do rule she got around. Next up, Murray Hall, 2.1 degree difficulty, back 1.5 somersault with a half twist free position, 2.1 degree difficulty, 5231D. A 5 from our first score. 4.5, 4.5. Evens out to about 5s. Next up, Greta Larson, 203C, 2.0 degree difficulty, back 1.5 somersault from that tuck position. Five and a half, 6, and 5.5. Next up, Chloe Arness, 303C, 2.1 degree of difficulty, a reverse 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. Excellent height. 7.5. A 7 and a 7. Great dive from Chloe Arness. As we head to round 5, only 3 exhibitions this time around. Peyton Rosendale will start us off. 5-2-1-1A, 1.8 degree of difficulty, a back dive with a half twist from the straight position. Got around 4.5, 4 and 4. Next up, Ainsley Hagel, 5-1-2-1-D, 1.7 degree of difficulty, a forward with 1 somersault and a half twist from that free position. Trying to get that the dialed in properly. I've seen that a couple times, but rather be safe than sorry there. Four and a half and a 4. Next up, Lila Salzman, 202C, 1.5 degree difficulty, a back with 1 somersault from the tuck position. Four and a half, 4. Moving back to the varsity side of things, Peyton Coombs, 5-1-2-1-D, 1.7 degree difficulty, a forward dive, 1 somersault and a half twist from the free position. Takes her time. Here she goes. 4. 4's across the board there for Peyton. Next up, Carly Gintner of the Raiders, 401C. No, excuse me, getting too far ahead. 5-1-2-2-D, 1.9 degree difficulty. A forward dive with 1 somersault, 1 twist from the free position. And they're gonna rule it an unsuccessful dive.
Unsuccessful attempt. Kira.
Next up, Kira Fuchman, 302C, 1.6 degree of difficulty, a reverse dive with 1 somersault from the tuck position. Five and a half, 5 and 6.5. Next up, Mari Hall, 203C, 2.0 degree of difficulty, back dive with 1.5 somersaults from that tuck position. Five and a half, 5 and 5. Next up, Greta Larson, 403C, 2.2 degree of difficulty, an inward dive, 1.5 somersaults from that tuck position. Five and a half, 5 and a 5. Next up, Chloe R. Ness, 403C, 2.2 degree of difficulty, inward dive, 1.5 somersaults from that tuck position, same dive you just saw. 5.5, 6.5, 6.5. 5.5 and a couple of 6.5s. Great dive from Chloe. As we move to round 6, the final round of diving here, we have one exhibition diver with Lila Salzman, 401C, 1.4 degree difficulty in inward dive from that tuck position. Got a 4, 4, and 4.5. As we move to the final varsity section of diving, Peyton Coombs back up. 401C, 1.4 degree difficulty in inward dive from the tuck position. Six, and 6. The devil's number, if you would. Carly getting her up. 401C, 1.4 degree of difficulty, inward dive from the tuck. Same dive as the last couple. Don't know if I'd want to go after that devil's number right there, though. Bad juju. Carly gets a 5.5, 5.5, 4.5. Not too bad for getting cursed by that 6.66. Next up, Kira Fuchman, 402C, 1.6 degree difficulty in inward dive with one somersault from the tuck. 5, 5.5, and 5. Next up, Greta Larson, 5231D, 2.1 degree difficulty back dive with a 1.5 somersault, half twist from that free position. Six, 5, and 5. Mari Hall up next, 403C. Oh no, excuse me, that was Mari. Greta Larson up next. 5231D, 2.1 degree difficulty back, 1.5 somersault, 1/2 twist from the free position. Last one was an inward 1.5 somersault tuck. Apologize about that, got ahead of myself. That was a successful dive. 5.5, 6, 5.5. And our final dive of the night, Chloe Arness, 5132D, 2.2 degree difficulty, forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist from that free spot. Student section jumping up in excitement. 7, 7.5, 7.5. Excellent dive to round off our diving portion of the night. An excellent show here from the Hastings Raiders on the diving side of things. Got to see some great dives from the Simley Spartans as well. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to take another break for a little while they get set up and warm up for the second half of the swimming heats. So thanks for joining us. You're watching HCTV Sports. We'll be right back.
At Hastings Community TV, we have been telling the story of Hastings since 1983. By supporting HCTV, you are supporting weekly live high school sports coverage, community events,
Welcome back to the Hastings Middle School pool for Metro East Conference clash between the Hastings Raiders and Simley Spartans. Hunter Pinky on the call here, all by myself here for some swimming action on Western Cowboy Senior Night. Did lose some of the student section after diving, but they were incredibly energetic here. Glad to see them coming on out as you get a good look at the whole place. Current score, 41-34 in favor of the hometown Raiders. Simley had the lead going into diving, but unfortunately Simley did not have any divers competing, so that did affect their score. They had some divers in the exhibition rounds, but not in the varsity rounds. Got a lot of action coming up the rest of the way here. Start off with our varsity butterfly. There is no JV heat for this 100-yard butterfly, so we'll kick off straight into varsity. Only 4 lanes in action for this one. In lane 1, it'll be Eliana Herrera Carlson, the sophomore. In lane 3, Izzy Green of the Hastings Raiders, Amira Lang of the Simley Spartans, the junior, and then in lane 5, Sofia Kovalenko, the sophomore. Same kind of format, Raiders in 1-3-5, Simley in 2-4 and 6, so that's kind of why you see that lane 2 and 6 absence, Simley not fielding a team for this heat. For this 100-yard butterfly. Off we go here. Raiders taking a lead here in lane number 5. That's Kovalenko over Green right now. Neck and neck, 100 yards, so they'll go down and back 2 times in this 25-yard pool. And excuse the bug, this is varsity, not junior varsity. There's no JV heat. Just remind our viewers, we'll get that corrected here shortly. Kovalenko with the lead, Green right behind. Herrera Carlson in that 3rd place spot in lane 1, and Simley rounding out the back half. Looks like Kovalenko will get the W for the Raiders, followed by Green. Herrera Carlson will take the 3rd place spot, followed by Amira Lang for the Simley Spartans. As the final racers come to finish, as we wait for our Simley competitor. Hastings with a time of 1:02:49. In lane 1, or lane 5, lane 2, 1:04:96, lane 1, 1:19:43, and lane 4, waiting on that final time, of 1:29:39.
Sorry, lane 5, line 5, yeah.
So next is the 100-yard freestyle. There is a JV heat for this one, so we will see JV followed by varsity here.
100-yard freestyle.
Full lane are competing tonight. Let's run through it. Ellie Cook, lane 1. Ansley Hagel for Simley, the 8th grader. Lauren Bedeau, the sophomore. Bella Berg for Simley, lane 4. At Maddie Ritter, lane 5. Peyton Rosendale, lays 11. So we're seeing a couple of those exhibition divers get some reps here in the 100-yard free. We're officially underway of the JV heat. Hastings taking a lead here. This is definitely another one about pacing. While you can go a little bit quicker than those 200-yard medleys, you still have to pace yourself a little bit here. Save that little extra gas in the tank for the final stretch. Lane 5 in the lead here. That's Maddie Ritter of Hastings. Ritter off to a commanding lead with Bedeau not too far behind, followed by Ellie Cook. Cook overtaking Badeau here. Simley rounding up the final two lanes, in lane number 4, Bella Berg in that fourth place spot as of now. Ritter looking to close out this JV heat with the W. Badeau overtakes Cook once again. As we get a first place finish, who's going to get that second place spot? And it'll be lane number 1 with Ellie Cook kind of taking that last breath over Badeau. Bella Berg will claim the 4th spot. In 5th, we'll get Peyton Rosendale, followed by Ainsley Hagel. Great job, swimmers, in this heat. Now we'll move to the varsity side of the 100-yard freestyle. Let's run through your race lineup here as they get ready on the block. Just wait till they dive in, then I'll go through your lineup here. Top to bottom. Lane 1, Greta Larson of Hastings, Sylvia Anderson, Simley, Josie Larson, lane 3 of Hastings, Tiffany Nigan. In lane 4, Liliana Burks, lane 5, and then Cadence Dolphy in lane 6 for Simley. Simley off to an early lead here in this 100-yard free in lane number 4, Nigan. Nigan's been a tough competitor all night, and the Raiders have had some tough trouble, but it's neck and neck now. Josie Larson keeping it close. The senior, Tiffany, getting that lead by a hand. Neck and neck in that first in place spot. Lane 1 kind of rounding up that third place spot with Greta Larson. Tiffany looking to claim it for Simley. And she's got it. But Hastings will wrap up the 2 and 3 spots. Greta Larson getting that 2. And then in lane number 5, you'll get your 4th place spot. That's Liliana Burks in the 6th place spot. Rounding up in lane number 2, Sylvia Anderson. Hastings 2 and 3 finish. Simley a 1-5-6 finish here in the 100-yard free. And just coming up for you viewers, just a reminder, there is no JV heat for this next event. It's the 500-yard freestyle for varsity only, so as we see our racers on the starting block, and this is a race of endurance, so they will be taking their time. A lot of times back they have to go 500 yards. So 20 times, I believe that is, as we're off. Let's run through your race lineups. Hastings 1-3-5, Simley 2-4-6. In lane 1, Stella Hilgers, the senior. Mari Early, the senior of Simley. Lila Salzman of Hastings, the sophomore. And Mia Doolittle, the 8th grader, Simley in lane 4. Chloe Arness, the sophomore, in lane 5 of Hastings. And then Cassandra Torres, the junior of Simley. Definitely can see that pace slowing down because it's a lot of laps. Just for 100 yards, it's 2 times down and back, so it'll at least be 5 times down the stretch in this pool. Apologize, I'm not good at math. Swimming is not one of my strongest sports for commentary, but it's been really fun to kind of branch out and call different sports, as Hastings has a very competitive swim and dive team. We always send a few individuals / squads to the state tournament for swimming and diving. Simley, the tight race in lanes 3 and 4, Salzman and Doolittle. Doolittle getting the edge here, but plenty of time to change that pace. Hastings getting the lead once again. Neck and neck here. Also, while we're on the air, too, want to give a huge congratulations to the Simley Spartans football team for defeating the South St. Paul Packers at TCO Stadium for the Minnesota Prep Spotlight for the Minnesota Vikings. That was a very competitive game. Just managed to survive the South St. Paul comeback late in the game. They went for a 2-point conversion late, and unfortunately for them, couldn't get it and locked in that inaugural Battle of the Barge trophy. We were happy enough to be on site for that and broadcast it for HCTV and Town Square viewers. One of our favorite things I think we've done in a long time. Getting to work with the Minnesota Vikings, NSBN.TV. It was a fantastic experience, and we're glad to serve one of our sister schools down the way in Inver Grove Heights and South St. Paul. Lanes 3 and 4 still with that tight gap between the two. Salzman and Doolittle keeping it close. It's gonna come down to who's got that final burst of energy, and if you're seeing on your screen those cards, that is to let the racers know what lap they're on. Once that turns red, that means they're on their final stretch. You'll also hear a cowbell indicating like, hey, this is the final lap. Down and back one more time and you're done. Upcoming for HCTV, we'll touch on it at the end of the game too. But going over tomorrow, don't forget to join us for Raider football versus a very good Armstrong team. They are 5-0 on the season, so it's going to be a challenge for the Hastings Raiders. But they just are coming off a strong overtime win against the Cretin-Durham Hall Raiders, 34-33. And you know, you kind of look at those common opponents, and in the common opponents territory, Armstrong has gotten the W, but not by much. So it should be a fairly competitive game tomorrow. Don't forget, I'm not sure where Town Square is going to be for football tomorrow, but next week, or no, in a couple weeks for that MEA game on the 16th, Town Square will be covering Simley versus Two Rivers. That should be a really fun game. They did it last year too, turned out to be really competitive. Two Rivers has turned into a really strong football program the past couple of years. Simley's rebuilding a little bit, but they are showing a lot of talent as of here late. Starting off 1-3 on the year, kind of coming back here after getting that big South St. Paul dub. Once again, welcoming in our Town Square Television viewers. Thanks for joining us here. I also work for them, so I see these Simley schools a lot, so it's fun to see them back in the pool here. Final lap, the horn is being rung, and Simley has that lead. It's going to take what is left in that gas tank for Hastings to narrow that gap, about a little under a swimmer's length of lead for Doolittle. Salzman trying to narrow the gap. Can she do it? Simley bench getting loud, hyping up her squad. And it looks like they will take the victory here in the 500-yard free. Hastings will lock up that number 2 position as we still have more racers going on. It looks like it's going to be tight between lane 5 and lane 2. Lane 5, Arness. Lane 2, Early. And it looks like lane 5 will claim the top 3. So Hastings, strong finish there. again claiming that 2 and 3 spot. While Simley getting that number 1 victory. Scoreboard showing 63-43 here in-house. As we wait the swimmers to exit the pool. Very competitive race and definitely one of the most difficult races of the night. And next, we do have a couple JV heats coming up. But while we also have a minute, we want to remind our viewers HCTV Sports is supported by Merchants Bank. Merchants Bank is committed to supporting the families and businesses at the hearts of our communities. Finances should be about listening, learning, and even a little fun. To start your best banking adventure yet, more information is available at merchantsbank.com. Merchants Bank, let's dream together. Thanks to the Merchants Bank team for supporting HCTV Sports. Next is the girls' 200-yard freestyle relay. Two Hastings teams and a Simley team. In the water, in lane 3, Stella Hilgers. And then lane 4, Maddie Book. And then lane 5, Elena Latch. So down and back the freestyle. Only have to go down and back once, that 50 yards for the next diver. Enter the pool. Simley a little far behind, but lanes 3 and 5 keeping her close. In the water for the Raiders, Chloe Arness and Liliana Burks. Soon to enter the water for Simley, Bella Berg. Tight race between Arness and Burks. Arness has that edge. So we get our next Hastings divers into the water. Be Ellie Cook and Lauren Bedot. Lane 2 with Ellie Cook has that substantial lead. Next diver for the Simley Spartans in the water. That'll be Lauren Oswald. Lauren Oswald kicking up the pace a little bit as Hastings looking to have their final competitors enter here. Narrow race here between both Raider competitors now into the water. We have Emery Malm and Fiona Olsen for the Raiders, and that lane 3 squad has a substantial lead and should take this JV heat. Now going into the water for the Simley Spartans is Peyton Rosendale, one of the exhibition divers of the night. And lane 3 will take that victory, followed by lane number 5. So Emery Malm rounds it out in lane 3. Fiona Olsen wraps it up lane number 5. And Peyton Rosendale looks to finish the race for the Simley Spartans. Just a reminder, too, to those watching, winter sports registration is open for the Hastings side of things, and I imagine the Simley side of things isn't too far off either. It's already October, and we're already hitting soccer sections next week, and we're going to be at girls hockey in about a month, so keep an eye on that if you have a student athlete here racing or playing other sports. As we now move to the varsity relay here, or the 200-yard freestyle. Once the racers are in the pool, I'll run through your starting lineups. Hastings 135, Simley 246. Kira Fuchman for Hastings lane in 1. Sylvia Anderson lane 2. Kira Arness lane 3. Mia Doolittle lane 4. Lila Salzman lane 5. And Cadence Dolphy lane 6. Simley with that early lead down there in lane number 4. Hastings not far behind. It's going to be neck and neck. These switches are going to be key. Who gets the better push off the block? And it's looking like Hastings does. In the water next. In lane 1, Carly Gittner, lane 2 for Simley. Ava Oslin, lane 3. Josie Larson, lane 4. Mari Early, lane 5. Greta Larson, lane 6. Violet Snodgrass. Looks like lane 5 for Hastings is kind of squeaking ahead here as we're approaching our third set of racers in the pool. Third racers lineups: Peyton Coombs in 1, Ava Fiel, lane 2, Sophia Kovalenko, lane 3, Lauren Oswald, lane 4, Amelia Cross, lane 5, and Sophie Nigan, excuse me. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know. Final swimmers set to appear in the pool: Emma Leonard, lane 1, Cassandra Torres, lane 2, Izzy Green, lane 3, Tiffany Negan, lane 4, Maddie Ritter, lane 5, and Amira Lang. And that third swimmer was actually Laura Oswald. Apologize for screwing that up, as it looks like lane 3 for Simley, or lane 4 for Simley with Tiffany will get that win just by a hair over Izzy Green. It's going to be a tight race for that number 3 spot. Hastings has about an arm's length advantage and will claim it. In lane number 5, Maddie Ritter, and then Cassandra Torres getting that lane, or that 4th place finish. So Hastings again getting that 2-3 finish, but Simley has been consistently getting that 1st place finish all night, but Hastings has kind of managed to claim up those 2-3 spots. And while I'm not as familiar with the point scoring, the top 3 finishers, I believe, are the ones that score here tonight. Another good race, but Simley kind of proving their speed in that lane number 4. Next up, we do have a JV heat. It is the girls 100-yard backstroke. And this is a Hastings only heat. So no Simley JV squad running. They'll be down and back a couple of times. So Hastings competing for personal times. In lane 1, Mary Schulk, the freshman, Emma Leonard, the sophomore, and then rounded out by Fiona Olsen, the senior. Fiona Olsen, one of the seniors recognized here tonight on senior night. Olsen and Leonard keeping it close. Schulk out there keeping pace in the water. Swimming is definitely a sport of endurance. And no matter what level you competed at, it takes a lot of effort and physicality. So congrats to all these swimmers and keeping this up. Gap has widened. Olsen now kind of falling behind here. It's Emma Leonard capitalizing. Apologize, they might have my race lineups backwards here. I think I just saw Schulk with her cap on in lane number 5 when it's listed on the lineup. She's in lane 1. So I apologize for that confusion. Going off the rosters provided in-house. As our last competitor looks to hit the wall. And that is Fiona Olsen. So lanes 1 and 5 did swap. So great job by Fiona to finish strong here on senior night. Move to event 20. the 100-yard backstroke varsity. Full lineup here. Once the swimmers get the race started, I'll run through your lineups. All the competitors in the water, and they're off. Lane 1, Liliana Burks, Tori Evangelista, Josie Larson, lane 3, Lauren Oswald, lane 4, Mari Hall, lane 5, and Emma Turbit in lane 6. Hastings 135, Simley 246. As a reminder for those just tuning in, Simley in lane number 4 with the lead, Oswald. Larson not horribly far off. Good push and close that gap. Liliana Burks kind of rounding up that 3 spot. But it's a tight race for the second place spot now. As they're kind of narrowing the gap. Lane number 4, Oswald, kind of has this locked up for another first place finish. As Simley kind of sneaking up here in lane 5 as well to get that 5 spot. But it will be Josie Larson claiming that 2, and then Liliana Burks claiming that 3. So once again, Simley kind of dominating tonight, taking a lot of first place finishes here, but Hastings not too far behind, getting those 2 and 3 spot totals to affect the score. We're on our final 3 events of the night, folks. This is our final JV heat coming up. 100-yard breaststroke for the JV side. 5 lanes will be in action.
You guys can just go ahead and reset. I got the shots that I need, so.
Event 21.
Once again, thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate it. We try to hit as many sports as we logistically can cover, so swimming being one of them, we try to hit it, even though it's a more unique sport. You know, there's others we can't cover, unfortunately, like cross country, track, and Nordic we couldn't do. We've been considering ways to try alpine, but I would have to do some investigative work to try and cover that, but we'll see. JV heat underway. In lane 1, Emery Malm, Violet Snodgrass. Lane 2, Carly Gittner. Lane 3, Maddie Book. Lane 4, Amelia Kraus. Lane 5, no one, lane 6. As we see Malm off to an early lead here. Simley not too far behind. In lane number 2 is Snodgrass. Gittner up there too. Looking the breaststroke as they take their final turns at the wall. Malm extending that lead. Simley in that second place position with Snodgrass. Snodgrass kind of doing a mix of varsity racing and JV racing tonight. We saw her on one of those relay squads earlier in this half of the swim and dive event. And Hastings will take that JV first place finish, followed by Snodgrass in lane 2 and lane number 4. Gintner, or lane number 3, excuse me, Gintner, and then Osland will claim that 5 spot, and then, or 4 spot, and then Kraus will claim the 5. I'm having trouble with numbers today, folks. Apologize about that. As that concludes our JV heat. Once again, want to give our shout out to our production crew. We'll shout them out later as well on the cameras today. Tori Selner, Max Slocum, and Ian Andrusak doing the directing and graphic work tonight. With me on the call. Swimming is one of the sports. It's nice to take a break from the director's chair and get to talk a little Hastings sports, Hastings swim action. We covered another town square school earlier this season for playback info. Check with them. But we covered Hastings Two Rivers earlier this year.
Event 22, varsity.
Now we move to the varsity 100-yard breaststroke. And we'll wait for the race to kick off before running through your lineups. Hastings 135, Simley 246. If we had the fancy graphics like bigger entities have, I wouldn't repeat that as much. Here we go. Eliana Latch, the 8th grader, lane 1. Geraldine Oleas, lane 2. The sophomore, Kiera Arnest, the senior, lane 3. Ava Osland, lane 4. Maddie Ritter, lane 5. The freshman, and Sophia Nigan in lane 6, the sophomore. Hastings off to a pretty sizable lead here. Kiera Arnest extending that lead. Those pushes off the wall going to be key. Kira makes the turn at the wall. Lane 5. Ritter not too far behind of a second place finish. Ava Osland looking to claim that 3 spot for Simley. And Hastings will get the first and second place finishes, and Simley will claim that 3rd place spot. One of the few races that we've seen Hastings take the top 2 and Simley claim the 1. This time, instead of the 2-3, we got the 1-2. Good job by the Hastings Raiders. And next, we have our final varsity heat of the night. It'll be the 400-yard freestyle relay. So each swimmer will go down and back twice before switching to the next swimmer. Instead of the 200 where they only do 1 lap, they do 2 for this 400. Also wanted to mention it too, I saw Jackie Crayons working the stands here from Hastings Middle School pool. She's retiring in November, one of the best athletic administrators in the area, so congrats on Jackie's retirement. We still got a month with you yet, Jackie, but excited for you and wish you nothing but the best. Let's run through your lineups. 135 Raiders, 234 Spartans. Liliana Burks, 1. Ava Field, lane 2. Emma Leonard, lane 3. Cassandra Torres, lane 4. Lila Salzman, lane 5. And Bella Berg in lane number 6. Hastings off to a lead down there in lane number 5 with Lila Salzman. Again, with the relay, we're going to kind of see the pacing change, how they stack that lineup with their stronger swimmers. Hastings right now off to a commanding lead with Salzman. Leonard and Torres not far behind. Next into the water for all lanes. Let's start it. Lane number 1, Mary Schulk. Lane number 2, Amira Lane. Lane number 3, Eliana Herrera Carlson. Lane number 4, Emma Turbot. Lane 5, Chloe Arnest. And lane number 6, Ainsley Hagel. Raiders still holding a commanding lead with Arnest in that lane number 5. Narrowing the gap in the middle is Emma Turbot between Herrera Carlson. So going to be tight for that 2-3 spot. as they complete their first lap. One more to go before the next divers are ready to enter the pool. Here's a chance to the bench in the middle school pool. Lane 5 looking to finish this up. And we have our first diver into the water for lane number 5. Let's run through your next set of swimmers. In lane 1 will be Peyton Coombs, followed by Geraldine Oleas. Lane number 3, Greta Larson. Lane 4, Tori Evangelista. Lane 5, Mari Hall. Lane 6, Maddie Book. Mari Hall has a commanding lead right now. Lane number 3, Greta Larson, not too far behind, and then Evangelista in that third place spot in lane number 3 for Simley. As lane 5 on their final lap. We see those lane 3 swimmers, or third lane racers finishing up. So we're about to see our final set of swimmers enter the pool. Let's run through the lineups across the lanes. Caden Butler, lane 1. Sophia Negan, lane 2. Izzy Green, lane 3. Sylvia Anderson, lane 4. Sophia Kovalenko, lane 5. And Peyton Rosendale in lane 6. Not all in the pool yet, but we're close. Kovalenko can take her time here with this big lead. However, wants to go push herself, get the best time possible. Kovalenko near the final stretch. Izzy Green. Near there as well. Lane number 3 with Anderson. Looking to close this up too. And Hastings will take the W with Kovalenko in lane number 5. Second place will be Izzy Green. And in third place will be the Simley Spartans with Sylvia Anderson rounding us out. As our final swimmer is in the pool, Rosendale finally in the water for the Simley Spartans. Simley taking over that number 5 place. In lane 2 is Sophia. Sophia swimming hard to overtake Butler. And Simley will claim that 4th place finish. Hastings taking that 5 in lane number 1. But we have one final swimmer who has one more lap to complete. That is Peyton Rosendale in lane number 6. She stretches along. As we will finish up our race here. And that'll do it tonight, folks. Both teams with strong outings, strong performances across the night. We're going to await the final score announcement before we say our goodbyes, but I think right now would be a good opportunity to remind our viewers of what's coming up next here on HCTV Sports. Let's walk you through it. On Friday, aka tomorrow, we have football versus Armstrong. Going to be a tough game. And then on Tuesday, the 8th, we're planning to do some form of soccer sections. Going to figure that out. Whoever gets a home game, the girls better, or we got robbed of that seating. And then next on the 10th, that's next Thursday, football versus St. Thomas Academy. That's relevant for Town Square viewers as well. And then we will wrap up our coverage on the 15th for soccer sections, depending what happens and plays out. So that's what's coming up next on HCTV Sports. A lot of fun action here, starting our winter schedule as well.
Simley with 74 and the Hastings Raiders with 108.
So winter schedule will be coming soon as well, but we got our final scores here. Final scores for the evening, the Hastings Raiders with a final score of 108 to Simley's 74. So another conference win for the Hastings Raiders. They're coming off a couple of conference losses, I believe, to Matamidi and Hill. Hill might have been a win, but I know for sure Matamidi. So great conference win here tonight for the Hastings Raiders. Great outing too by Simley. They had plenty of first place finishes tonight as well. But that'll do it for us here tonight. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Let's give a huge shout out to our production crew tonight. I'm Hunter Pink, your sports director, producer, announcer, man of many talents. Doing the directing tonight on the switcher, Ian Andersack. Cameras tonight, Max Slocum and Tori Selner. And then, like I said, on graphics, Ian Andersack. Thanks for joining us, everybody. The Hastings Raiders get the W over the visiting Simley Spartans, 108 to 74. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on HCTV Sports.